A remarkable moment this morning over at the White House. The president stepped outside, walked straight over to the cameras. He first spoke to Fox News, then to all White House reporters, and he covered a lot of topics over those 49 minutes. And as we mentioned, he also made a bunch of false statements, keeping them honest. Here's a look at the president's untruths, followed by the facts.
It's a very unfair situation, but the IG report totally exonerates. I mean, if you look at the results and if you look at the head investigator is saying we have to stop Trump from becoming president. Well, Trump became president.
I hate the children being taken away. The Democrats have to change their law. That's their law.
Sir, that's
you
your
policy.
Quiet. That's the Democrats' law. We can change it tonight. We can change
You're
it
the
right
president.
now.
You
I will leave
it.
here. No,
Jeff Sessions
you need their
changed it.
votes. You need their votes. Manafort has nothing to do with our campaign. But I feel I tell you, I feel a little badly about it. They went back 12 years to get things that he did 12 years ago. You know, Paul Manafort worked for me for a very short period of time. He worked for me, what, for 49 days or something? A very short period of time. I feel badly for some people because they've gone back 12 years to find things about somebody. President Obama lost Crimea because President Putin didn't respect President Obama, didn't respect our country, and didn't respect Ukraine. One more time,
Paul Manafort.
President Obama gave away Crimea. That should have never happened. I feel badly for General Flynn. He's lost his house. He's lost his life. And some people say he lied, and some people say he didn't lie. I mean, really, it turned out maybe he didn't lie.
All right, joining us now, New York Times White House correspondent Maggie Haberman is also a CNN political analyst. Maggie, over the course of the last few weeks, you've spoken a lot about the president's lies and untruths, when he actually believes something he's saying and when he doesn't in that context. What do you make of his answers today?
I think that for the most part, he was saying things that it was a grab bag of what he wanted to will into existence versus what I think he knew was not true. I was interested. There were a number of times, if you look at the transcript, where reporters did in real time say to him, why are you somebody actually yelled, why are you lying about that, sir? Which I think is a Rubicon crossing. And I'm hoping for the people who thought that having reporters do that is going to somehow change how he acts are disabused of that notion, because it's not going to. But he did say a number of things that were false. He said some things that you would have to assume. One assumes that he knows what his own border policy is, and that he knows that that is a lie to keep saying that it is the Democrats' policy. That is just not true. I believe he does not want to own politically the images of these children who have been taken away from their parents at the border. I think that accounts for that one. I think that you saw him practice an enormous amount of spin around the Inspector General report on James Comey and how James Comey handled the Hillary Clinton email investigation. She was really the wronged party in that entire report. But the president has turned this into something about himself, and how it showed both that he was correct about Comey in terms of firing him, and that he then made all these claims about the report that just are not true, that the report exonerated him in terms of allegations of collusion with Russian officials by his campaign. The report doesn't do any of that. So I think this was finally, I think this was a president who has been very cooped up and likes to do things the way he wants to, likes engaging with the press, and really hasn't been for a very long time. So I think that was actually enjoyable for him, but there were a torrent of inaccuracies and falsehoods.
In recent days, he's been spending more time answering reporters' questions, which is good.
Yes, it is good.
Do you think these misstatements, these answers, are part of any actual strategy on the president's part, or is he merely reacting in real time to reporters' questions?
I think on Comey there is a strategy where they're trying to discredit, his legal team is trying to discredit Comey. They believe that Comey is the main witness for the special counsel, Robert Mueller, and that they need to attack him from all angles. And I think that is not a surprise, and that is part of a strategy. The rest of it, though, I do think is that this is a president, and before that a candidate, and before that a businessman and reality television star who will say whatever he has to say to get through very short 10 to 15 minute increments of time, and that is really what this was. And there was a moment where a reporter was asking a question, and he informed the reporter they were asking an entirely different question, and it wasn't even in the same ballpark. So this is just somebody who is getting through that moment.
Where do you think, Maggie, the president's head is right now? Because he's on the heels of what was, by most accounts, a successful first step with North Korea, yet he's now facing the prospect of some kind of sit-down interview with the special counsel, Robert Mueller.
Look, I think the chances of that interview being agreed to by the president are extremely slim. Obviously, don't ever say never, but I think it's extremely unlikely based on my reporting. I do think his head was in a very good place coming out of North Korea. I think he felt really good about this meeting. I think he felt like he had. One of the things that has benefited this president is that time and time again, when he has done something, there has been something of a sky is falling reaction to it, and that emboldens him when the sky then does not fall. So at the moment, he feels that way about North Korea, and it was then frustrating for him to come back to the U.S. and see the summit described as it actually was, and the agreements that actually were made between him and Kim Jong-un, what he agreed to give up versus what Kim Jong-un agreed to give up. And there is a bit of a gap in how he's describing it versus what took place. But I think, yes, he comes back into the messy reality of this probe, which he sort of hinted at in a tweet either today or yesterday. And I think that bothers him.